Hello everyone, I am finally back with a journal for the Etsy shop. I hope everyone is well. It is rainy here in Florida and it's going to stay rainy for a while, so that always gives me lots of time to get things done. This guy is a cookbook-ish. I'm going to say ish because you know, it's still in the junk journal theme, and as my usual eclectic self, you know, it doesn't have sections, but I put tabs so you could make sections. But this is a design team project for the old design shop, and I have put, I think there's 4 or 5 links down below of the different items from the old design shop Etsy shop. I may also have a few of her digis from her blog. Both of those links are below. You'll see Old Design Shop blog and you'll see Old Design Shop Etsy. So there's a link to take you to both of those places. But there is also 4 or 5 links to take you to certain items that I used in this journal. The cover is the original. I believe this copyright, it's either 1893 or 1895. I was scrolling through my stash and I couldn't find the exact, but I know it's one of those two. So that's that. And I have scanned this cover, so I will make it a digi in my shop. Won't promise when. You guys know me and digis. It's not my favorite thing, but I try to do them when I can. Let's see what else. The particulars. It is 7 3/4 tall. It is 5 inches wide. It has a 1 3/4 inch spine with 8 signatures and roughly 170 sewn-in pages. There are tons and tons of recipe cards and flip outs and all of that in here. One thing I want to show you though before we get going here, and I don't know if you guys have seen these. Sorry for my little ouchie here. I just found them, so it's my new favorite toy, and they're called book darts. And this particular set, and I put the link down in the description box for you guys, there is a copper, a gold, and a silver, and one side looks like this and the other side looks like that. So they're intended to be used to mark a page, but I'm gonna use them to, you know, clip little bits onto pages. So these are fun. Here's what they look like in the container when you get them. And they're super thin. I would say probably not to let the kiddos play with them. They could be sharp if you're not too careful. So, yes, not intended for children, as is this video, not intended for children. All right, so let me show you the outside. Now, the spine was in some disarray, but I did not want to cover it because I just love, you know, that the name is there and that the price was $1.50. So what I did was I made some vintage tape, and then I put a good bit of sealer on the whole thing. It's got 3 coats of sealer on it just to kind of preserve it where it was at because it's already grungy. I took one of these metal spoons that I had. I threw some alcohol ink on there to grunge it up. So that's fun on the spine. This closure is not attached. All right. So there's the front and the spine, and there's the grungy back. Here's what it's going to look like from the side. And the beginning of each signature has one of these whale tail tabs, and I have 2 lovely ladies, Janice and Pam. Both punched me out some and sent them to me. So I believe these green file folder ones were from Pam. So thank you, Pam. All right, let's hop to it. So inside, and I'll try and point out each item that is from the old design shop. Sometimes I forget, but I'll do my best. There's just a little bit of collaging on this little pocket here with a milk cap. This says Wonderful Secret. There's just a regular little tag, and then you'll see a whole bunch of these throughout the journal, and they, you know, were handwritten recipes or typed recipes. These are from the old design shop, and she had made them into tags for us. And what I did on the front and back cover, I have the cutest, here, I'll show you. The cutest napkin. So I took it and I decoupaged it onto a piece of tea stained cardstock I've sewn around the edge, and because the napkin wasn't, you know, long enough to fit the full page, see, so then I just made a little pocket down here. But he's so cute. So he's in the front and the back. I don't know where this page is from. I don't know if it's Julie's. On the tab of each one, there is either, I think there's 5 that have tatting. There's some kind of tatting or lace or vintage trim. This Kitchen Luxuries. This is from Old Design Shop, and Layered Cakes. And then I have that, I have an ephemera, a cooking ephemera book. And so I took some food themed or advertisements out of it. So this one's for chocolate. And then I've stitched it onto a piece of tea stained paper and just made a flip with some lace. And this is an old piece of French ephemera, and I used one of the book darts there. There's an old receipt, tea stained paper. Now these pockets, there's I believe 1 pocket in each signature. Again, link is down below, Old Design Shop. This one's for sugar cookies. And here's another one of her tags. And then I have this vintage flashcard. So I thought the J with the jar was cute in here with some vintage tape. And that's the back side of that first page. Here's a giant recipe card, and it's only being held on, you know, with the book dart. And let me put these back. And I really think that this would be fun because we've gotten away from, you know, using a recipe book, collecting recipes. You know, if someone was to just take this with them during a family gathering or any event and swap recipes, you know. If someone gives you a handwritten recipe and you tuck it in here, give them a blank card back so they can write it down for somebody else, or, you know. So I thought that would be fun. Here's another napkin, this cute little fellow. So I decoupaged it over this breakfast and tea cakes page, which I think is darling. Here's another flip from that ephemera book with some trim and some vintage tape. And there's digital stamping. Another recipe card with a book dart. This is this is a butcher's receipt from 1886. And there are some stickers. There's another one of the tags. And some more digital stamping. Here's a blank recipe card that I've made into a pocket with the lasagna Napoli recipe card. More. It's Kitchen Luxuries. This was out of an old cookbook, 2000 Facts About Food. There's another little Eagle Thistle brand soda, and that's a flip with some vintage lace. Another recipe card, Layer Cakes page, another tag. English pudding recipe with baked apples tag tucked in there. I went ahead and just stuck this one down. Cookies rolled in powdered sugar. Helen L. 221.57. I love these whale tail tabs. Oh. This was a vintage image of bread, and I just used some little trim there, and there it is. So you could, you know, tuck something inside or write a recipe or notes on there. Digital stamping, some vellum. This is just a pocket with, there's a milk cap with some little bits tucked in. There's some embossed tea stained paper there and there with a ticket tucked behind. Here's another big recipe card. Breakfast, beefsteak smothered in onions. Caramel date cookies, and just a little journaling bit there with some vintage tape. And then I was going to put these in here, and I didn't, but they'll be included in here with this little vintage clip. And what they are, they were out of a handmade cookbook, and I didn't put them in as pages only because if you were going to turn the pages like this, one would be upside down. Because see, they were in like a 3-ring where you'd flip this way. So I just thought it would be fun to have, I think there's about 8 or 10 of them here. you know, to trade, or you could copy them and write them in here. There's a Dixie cookbook page that's included in one of those digi kits. This is a real deal vintage doily. Some painter's masking paper with a recipe card. Another one of the kitchen luxuries. Here is a baking powder advertisement made from grape cream tartar. Interesting. But it had the back and the front, so I just folded it in half and sewn it on there. There's a cake making page and one of the book darts. An orange or Iron Range company. Goodness sakes, I can pull it together today. Almond icing for cakes tag. Another recipe card. It's the other side of that doily, and I just tacked it down with some vintage tape. Another tag and blank recipe card. More cookbook pages. Here's another home cooking, and there's a little tiny hidden ledger sticky note under there. Some stickers. There's another recipe card. The other side of that cookbook page. There's another one of the darts. This is just an extra piece of the recipe page, so I tucked it in here. Recipe 4 from the kitchen of. Another kitchen luxuries page. Another flip with some vintage lace on the tab. This was a one of the little corrugated coffee sleeves. So I turned it upside down, decoupaged a napkin on it, and turned it into a little pocket with a couple of recipe cards, and those are also in Julie's shop at the old design shop. And cookbook page, baking powder biscuits, and another recipe card. There's a vintage receipt, some digital stamping, wild cherry syrup with, oh, I love that lace. Flip out. Black currant cordial, and that's just on there with a little Tim Holtz clip. Raspberry jam tag, another recipe card, and another recipe card. Potato soup with some recipe cards. Here's the back page, and here's our cute little fellow back here. And this just says collections with a little bit of collaging and a recipe card and tag. All right, so there it is, guys. If this video is up, it is in the Etsy shop. Link is down below. And it will come as usual, like all my journals do, in its own muslin bag in plastic, so that it will arrive to you safe and sound. So I thank you guys for watching the video, and I almost have another journal ready. It should be done in the next day or so. So I will see you guys again real soon. Thank you. Bye, everyone.